guys, it's Christine, also known as Ivy Winter. Thank you for joining me for another video. I have been taking my time on making this video because I wanted to wait and see what kind of information was going to be coming out of the parks. As we know, we've had a very crazy past couple of weeks in the US and in the world, and that has led to the Disney parks closing down due to coronavirus. Or as it were today, I believe Disneyland is now closed. Disney World is soon following suit. Disneyland Paris is also closing as well. And so at this point, all theme parks will be closed. I went back and forth on making this video because I didn't want anyone to think that I was making this to capitalize on something. I have kind of gone back and forth on like what I've even wanted to do with the channel. Did it seem appropriate to keep putting out content about planning a Disney vacation when you can't plan one right now? That said, I will continue to put out the content that I've planned to put out. I think that we're all in this together right now, and we're just inundated with so much news, negative news, that I wanted to keep going with the more fun stuff because I think we all kind of need it a little bit. So hopefully you guys understand that, and I hope that you still come and spend some time with me. But I did want to cover this because this is a planning thing, and I feel like this channel, if anything, is meant to help you plan. And unfortunately, this is the kind of planning we don't want to have to think about, but we have to. So I want to, I'm just going to go straight into what Disney has posted. We're going to go line by line, discuss it a little bit. I just wanted to have a place where you could see all of this, but also know where to get all of this information. I've also been reaching out to other different parts to try to get more information. For example, I have reached out to Cirque du Soleil to see what was happening there, if they were canceling shows, if they're refunding tickets. I haven't heard back yet, but to be fair, they're probably inundated by emails and phone calls and all of that. So I am trying to get more information as I can, but we're going to go with the information that we have right now. First step is, if you're looking for this information online, you're going to want to go to, the Disney Parks blog has this page here that I'm looking at with all of the links to just changes of operations for Disney World, Cruise Line, and Disneyland. So I want to take a moment to just kind of look at what's happening for each. I'm actually going to start with Disneyland because they're technically closed already. And it's important to note that what Disneyland is doing and Disney World is doing is similar, but not exactly the same. So definitely want to call out any of the differences that are happening. But we're going to start with Disneyland. So anyone who might have a Disneyland trip upcoming. Okay, so they confirmed that there have been no reports at Disneyland specifically, but they're closing today, March 14th, through the end of the month. They don't give an exact date right now. We are assuming that means the 31st. I think in a lot of cases, we're seeing that companies are closing places down from now until March, and then we'll be reassessing. We have no idea what's going to happen after the fact. So I know the first question you're probably asking me about this and the other parks is, well, are they going to open April 1st? I don't know. And I don't think anyone really knows right now. So if you do have a trip planned in April, it might not happen. I have a trip planned in April. I am ready to accept the fact that it's probably not going to happen, and I'll probably also have to go through the process of canceling, which is a bummer. But again, it's important for our safety to not be traveling and not being places with thousands of people. The answer to that right now, I think across the board, is no one knows. I think they are trying to assess things a day at a time. And as we get towards the end of March, we very well could see extensions. But I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. Please do not call cast members and ask them. I don't think that they know either. Okay, so they've broken this down into different sections here. So for annual passports, annual pass holders, something that Disney is doing for pass holders, both I believe on the Disneyland and the Disney World side, is that our annual passes will be extended by the time frame that it is closed. Okay, so right here, they do say that they are planning. They have a scheduled reopen on April 1st. It says, given the necessary closure, all annual pass holders who have passports that are valid during the closure period will have their passport expiration date extended based on pass types and level of access due to the impacts of the closure. The extended date will be reflected on your passport account prior to reopening of the parks. It's really interesting that they say based on pass type. I'm not quite sure what the differences would be in terms of pass type and whether they would or wouldn't give you extra time, but it does seem for the most part everyone's expiration date is going to be extended. This is also the case for Disney World. We'll get to that page, but I also believe that they say you'll see it reflected in the Disney World app. If you have that connected, it should reflect a new expiration date. I have not actually checked mine yet because I have an annual pass for Disney World through December. So likely it will then be plus 2 weeks. Annual pass holders on the monthly payment program will remain on the current payment schedule and continue to make their scheduled payments. These annual pass holders will have their passport expiration date extended based on pass type and will not be required to make any payments during that extended period. So there you go. You're still going to make your payments up until the period that your pass was supposed to go until, but any extension past that, whether it's 2 weeks or more, if they choose to keep the parks closed longer, you will not have to make payments then. Those are yours to have, a freebie to have. You don't have to pay for those weeks. For Disney Flex Pass holders, we will cancel reservations for the duration of the closure without penalty. This is another thing that is happening across the board is they're not penalizing people with fees for canceling. In fact, they're automatically canceling in a lot of cases. But let's go down to room-only hotel reservations. During the temporary closure of the Disneyland Resort, guests may cancel the room-only hotel reservations for scheduled stays during the closure and receive a full refund. So they do want you to call. They do say they're anticipating high call volumes. I've heard on the airline side, I know somebody called JetBlue to cancel. They were on hold for like 4 or 5 hours. I know, it sucks. Expect the long hold times. And also, I really beg you, be nice to your cast members on the phone. This is not up to them. Don't take it out on them. Just be very kind. They're dealing with so many people. So do be kind when you reach out. If you're unable to reach us before your check-in date, you will not be penalized or assessed fees for canceling your hotel room reservation after your check-in date. So there you go. If your check-in date is, let's say, March 17th and you don't get to them to March 19th, that's fine. They're not going to charge you anything for being late on that. I think that they understand the circumstances, fortunately. One thing I want to note is they are closing the parks today. They are closing the resorts in Disneyland on the 16th, which is Monday. They want to give people some time to be able to go home. So they're still open in Disneyland until Monday, and then the resorts will also be closed. In addition, as far as I know, and I don't think there's been a change, I'm just double checking, Downtown Disney will remain open. So that area is going to be open. Kind of understandable right now. It is kind of a shopping, eating area. Even here in the Northeast where things are a bit crazy, we're not really seeing restaurants or shopping malls closed just yet. So I think that could change. But for right now, it is open. I'm sure they're going to see a lot less foot traffic without people going to the parks anyway. Vacation packages. During this closure, guests may cancel their Disneyland vacation packages for scheduled visits during the closure if booked through the Walt Disney Travel Company and receive a full refund, excluding third-party products and fees. So if you need to cancel through them because you booked through them, you can, no fees. If you booked through a travel agency, I believe you're going to have to go through them. If you booked through like a third-party Expedia or something like that, you're going to have to go through them. I'm not 100% sure on what everyone's cancellation policy is currently, so you'll have to look into that per whatever third party you might have used. again, if you're unable to reach them before the check-in date, they're not going to penalize you. For dining and activity reservations, so you'll get a full refund for the below experiences if scheduled during the closure period. So again, March 14th to March 31st as it stands. Dining, Princess Breakfast Adventures, Lightsabers, Droid Depot, Disneyland Resort VIP Tours, and Bippity Boppity Boutique. Basically, all these reservations are easily canceled. Anything where you had to pay ahead of time, you'll get your money back. Also, if you do not cancel it yourself, they're going to automatically refund you. So it says here, if a reservation is scheduled during the closure, you will not be charged a fee, and you will automatically receive a refund if you do not cancel, because they're just going to cancel for you, right? They're not open. So you could decide, I don't even want to touch anything. They're just going to give me my money back. That's fine. If you'd rather go and call and cancel everything, you can do that as well. But it is nice that it doesn't have to be done that way. You can just get your refund regardless. Special event tickets during the temporary closure, guests will be refunded of the purchase price for any separately ticketed special event that was planned during the closure. Again, you will automatically receive a refund within 30 days, and you do not need to contact Disneyland. I think what they're trying to do is say, if you have a reservation, contact us, but say you're a local and you just had a special event ticket, don't contact us. Don't worry, you're still going to get the refund. I think they're just trying to minimize calls by doing this, but it's really great that you at least don't have to think about it. So that is what they currently have right now. As far as actual other tickets, I mean, I assume that's going to fall into your packages and all of that as well. If you're not an annual pass holder and you didn't have a package and you had a ticket, I'm sure you can call and get a refund or possibly have it extended so you can use that another time. Again, I think a lot of this is case by case, but this is the information that they have currently. Disney World, okay, a little bit different. It's interesting how this has all the neat little drop downs, and the Disney World's just like, we're gonna throw everything on a single page. Okay, Disney World will be closed on March 16th. So Disneyland closed today, Disney World on March 16th, which is Monday, through again the end of the month. Also, what I want to note, I didn't pull up in the other thing, but this here, Walt Disney Company will pay its cast members during that closure period. They're paying their cast members, which is fantastic, and I think a really good example to set for other companies. So there you go. Disney Resort Hotels. Now this is different than Disneyland. Will remain open until further notice. Disney Springs will also remain open, much like Downtown Disney. Now, my theory on why they're keeping Disney resorts open is likely because we have so many more international people that come to Disney World that I think it is very hard to have them just book and go home. Also, there's a lot of travel restrictions happening right now between countries, so some people might not be able to get home. And the last thing Disney wants to do is say, you gotta get out, go figure it out. So the hotels are remaining open. Unlike Disneyland, in which they will be closing. So important to note, and for people who might be down there now, you do not have to rush out. You have time to figure it out. Okay, tickets. May I get a refund on my ticket? Unexpired multi-day theme park tickets with unused days or date-specific theme park tickets with a valid use period during the time that they're closed will automatically be extended to use any date through December 15th. If you are unable to visit by December 15th, you may apply the value of a wholly unused ticket toward the purchase of a ticket for a future date. Now, this means a ticket with unused days, right? So they're assuming that these are people who are about to go down, who had the ticket, they haven't used their days yet. As far as tickets that are partially used, it doesn't seem to me that they have anything specific on that here. Now, I would assume if you've partially used it, you're probably down there. You're either on your trip or you live down there. Though I guess if you live down there, you probably have an annual pass. So I would call and check what their policy on that is. So basically, the ticket that you didn't use for this period, you automatically have a ticket through December 15th, almost the end of the year. If you cannot reschedule within that time, no problem. They'll actually just give you that value to put to another ticket at a future date. Doesn't sound like it's a full refund. It doesn't sound like they're giving you your actual money back, but they are saying like you'll get credit. Florida resident Discovery Disney tickets may be used through July 31st, 2020. Shorter expiration period than December because Florida residents, I guess they're assuming that they'll be able to use them in that time. Again, this is all pending on if it does open on April 1st. All of these dates might move back depending on what happens. Guests who have purchased tickets for Disney After Hours, Disney Villains After Hours, and Disney Early Morning Magic from March 16th through March 31st will be automatically refunded. Again, don't have to call. You're going to get your money back. Don't have to worry about that. Annual passes. How does the closure impact Walt Disney World? Annual passes. All active annual passes will be extended for the number of days the parks are closed. That language was really important because they're not just saying it will be extended through March, the 2 weeks through March 31st added on. They're saying through the number of days the parks are closed because, again, they don't know if that's going to be longer. Passes with renewal windows ending during the closure will also receive an extension of time to renew. So if your pass is supposed to expire next week, you have an extension. For pass holders participating in the annual pass monthly payment program, your monthly payment will continue as scheduled. I feel like this is going to be similar to Disneyland, where you'll just have your payments and then the extended period won't count. When will my new usage dates appear in the My Disney Experience? Over the coming weeks, your annual pass details in My Disney Experience will be updated to reflect new pass usage information. There you go. So I was saying, I didn't check. It's probably not even there yet. I imagine it's going to take them some time. But if you have the My Disney Experience app, it should reflect it. Will the blockout and admission calendars be updated online? Pass blockout and admission calendars will not be updated during the closure period. Interesting. Okay. Resorts. I have a future stay when the parks is closed. What does that mean for my vacation? Guests who have not checked in may modify or cancel their Disney resort room reservation or their package up to the original check-in date. If no action is taken and guests have not checked in, Disney will automatically process a refund. You will get that payment within 7 days. If you did not book through Disney directly, please contact your travel professional. So what this means is you have up until your check-in date to modify. So if you're like, I want to move this to July, you have time to do that. And I've noticed modifications pretty easy on the desktop. So I try to do that first before calling. Now, if you miss that check-in date, they're just going to refund you. So this is really important that if you do want to modify without having to rebook, definitely do this before your original check-in date. Refunded amounts for packages will be less cancellation fees imposed by third-party suppliers, including airlines, rental cars, et cetera, et cetera. So obviously, any third-party fees is still going to happen, but they can give you back all the money that you were giving to them. What if I want to cancel a Disney resort hotel reservation after the parks reopen? So this could be applied to me, right? I'm supposed to go down April 12th. My actual reservation is April 15th. This is after, supposedly, they're going to reopen. They're going to waive all change and cancellation fees up to the date of check-in through June 30th. So if you have something booked through June 30th and you want to cancel or change prior to your check-in, you can do that and not pay any fees. So as long as I do it before April 14th or before April 15th, if I do it on April 14th, I should be good. Dining and other experiences. I have prepaid dining reservations or experience reservations during the time when the parks are closed. Will I receive a refund? Yes. All prepaid dining, so we're talking like, Hoop-de-Doo, for example. And experience reservations will be automatically refunded if scheduled between their closure dates. What happens to dining reservations that require a credit card at the time of booking? Reservations made at locations impacted by the closure will not be charged cancellation or no-show fee, so don't worry about your no-show fee. You could probably just leave it, and it's fine. How does the closure impact my Tables in Wonderland membership? All memberships will be extended by the number of days the park is closed. So this is like the annual pass. Your Tables in Wonderland will be extended. FastPass Plus. Do I need to cancel my FastPass Plus reservation scheduled for March 16th through March 31st when the parks are closed? They're just going to be canceled. You don't have to do it yourself. They're just going to go in and cancel because, again, they're going to be closed. So they're not going to be able to do anything with that anyway. I have a couple of personal questions when it comes to this. Well, one is, I do have the Run Disney race in April. Because they're assuming that they're going to open again on April 1st, I assume that they are not ready to say they're going to cancel the race. And generally, those races are non-refundable. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do if, one, they're going to cancel the race. And if they're not, if they're still going to let people who just don't feel okay with traveling at least be able to get credit for another race. It would be a shame if they stuck with their no refund policy. So I'm waiting to find out what they're going to do about that. Also, in cases like tours, they do take a card and they charge you. So I assume you'd have to call for something like that to be able to cancel. Spa packages, stuff like that. I would definitely give them a call. And I believe it shouldn't be hard to cancel. But again, you're probably going to be on the phone for a while. This is just kind of the nature of how it is. Okay, and then we're going to go to the cruise line. Disney Cruise Line has decided to suspend all new departures beginning Saturday, March 14th. So today. There will be no departures now through the end of the month. While we know this decision is disappointing, health and well-being of our guests is of the greatest importance. Yes, and obviously cruise lines have been very much hit by this. The Disney Dream will depart on a 3-night cruise from Port Canaveral as scheduled on Friday, March 13th. That was yesterday, and returning on Monday, March 16th. That has happened. The Disney Fantasy and Disney Magic will return to port on Saturday, March 14th. The Disney Wonder, which is currently in a Panama Canal cruise, will continue on its scheduled itinerary, with guests disembarking in San Diego on Friday, March 20th. So there are two ships out right now. One that is doing a short trip that they went ahead with. One that is in the middle of one, and then the Fantasy and the Magic are already in port. Disney Cruise Lines will offer guests affected by this decision a future cruise credit or a full refund, the details of which will be provided directly to them. Given the higher than normal call volume at our call center, we ask that affected guests or the travel agent wait to contact us until after they've received an email from us. That's an interesting way to kind of, slow down, I'm sure, the incoming phone calls that they're going to be getting. So that's interesting. You can get a cruise credit just to do a whole other cruise in the future, or a full refund. So then they have an entire list of all the impacted sailings. There's quite a lot. I think that we'd forget how many that they do. Often they're doing, shorter 2-night, 3-night, 4-night trips. So there's quite a lot in just a 2 weeks time. So all of these people who are booked for any of these, you will be reached out to by email. And then from there you can contact them. These are some updates as well in terms of traveling and embarkation. So this was before they were even canceling cruises outright. Guests or crew member traveled from, to, or through the following countries and regions will not be able to board our ships. I mean, it's everywhere, which is kind of scary. They were screening at one point by taking the temperature of everyone before they boarded. Anyone over 100 degrees could possibly not be let on the ship. But now, obviously, that's not as prevalent because we don't have any cruises going out. Will they continue to do this after cruises start going back out again? They might. I feel like this could be a thing that might be ongoing for a while, and maybe something that cruise lines are just going to permanently do. It takes about 2 seconds for them to check the temperature. They do the one that just gets put to your forehead. It's pretty quick. And I think this might be a little bit of a new way of traveling for us, but we shall see. The links are a little different, but basically the Disney World one is, disneyworld.disney.go.com, the typical website, /travel-information. Same thing for Disneyland, disneyland.disney.go.com /travel-information. And then Disney Cruise is a little different. It's under guest services and then advisory. I'm going to put all of these links below so you can take time to review them yourself. And see how they might impact you. So that's it. I wanted to make this really quick and sit down with you guys and go through this. I hope that this helps. I know that there's a lot of questions. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out what's happening with Cirque du Soleil. I do have a ticket, so if I need to cancel in April, I'm trying to figure out for myself and for all of you what that situation is going to entail. I do know there was a question on if with Disney World closing parks, do they also mean water parks? As far as I've seen, yes. I believe water parks are also included in that. In addition, Universal has closed, SeaWorld has closed, Busch Gardens, I believe, has closed. There's really no theme parks that are going to be open in Orlando, which is crazy. But that's it. Just wanted to get this out to you guys. I do plan, like I said, to continue some of my other content. I think we need a little bit of a break. I think we should all be well informed, don't get me wrong. And I'm constantly keeping up with what's going on in the news. But I think sometimes we need a little bit of break here and there to have a little bit of fun. So as long as you guys are okay with it, I would like to keep putting out my Disney World content because it will still be here after all of this. And hopefully you can still use that information and still have a little fun talking about it. And I'll keep you guys updated on if I do cancel my April trip and what that process might look like. I also just want to say that you guys are a fantastic community. I love everyone who has been in the Discord. You guys have been amazing. It's been really great to talk with you guys during and through this whole thing. It's happening to all of us, and so it's nice to come together and be able to have a community like that. I appreciate everyone who watches these videos and comments and has such thoughtful, amazing things to say. I am thinking about all of you. I hope that you all stay healthy. I hope that you all are washing your hands and being careful around others, and that we all get through this as best that we can. This will end. There's advice that my dad always has given me, and it applies to everything. But he always says to me, everything is temporary. That applies for the good and the bad, but everything is temporary. So this is temporary. We will get through this together. I think this community is amazing, and I just want to wish you guys the best of health.